Oh, I should do my homework right now as classes start.
Oh yeah, that's yeah. Me too.
Greetings, Pirate Council. Our tall tales please you. Last we left our heroes, they had... well, who was here, actually? This was 2-3 weeks ago now. Karu, these are the Sea Elves. These are your people. I know you're trying to do your homework, but I'm going to distract you by asking you questions about what happened last session.
Yeah, last session we were making our way to the Sea Elves, so we headed north, and along the way we encountered some things. What were they that we encountered? A bunch of flying, annoying guys. Razor tails.
Razor fiend?
Pauly
Razor
said
fiends?
you guys, okay, come on, you don't have to
We had a little fight on our way with some dudes. Pauly was, as always, just like killing everything. Baby Pauly was just knocking them all down.
I'm a murder machine.
Saving everybody else on the ship, you know. So we're all so proud. And then we kept going, and we made our way to the Elven City Village thing. And we met... We put this in the chat before, so I could just figure this out. We met... Speaker Celeria? Celery? No.
Hillary!
Speaker Celery of the Sea Elves. And Karu kind of like pretended to have been issued there on behalf of the church and was kind of maybe like, I wouldn't say outwardly lying, but kind of just not denying that they were like, oh, you're from the church and you've been sent here. And he was just like, yeah, totally. And this is my group. And so we kind of went under the ruse that we were there to help them with whatever problem it was they had like called the church for. And then they told us about some lizard folk causing some issue, and we were sort of like, well, if we do this for you, maybe you could help us out with the problem up on the surface.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where we left it.
Right, and you returned not the remains of one of the Sea Elves, but a ring that, you'd found. You kind of returned that, and that's kind of where we pick up with, as it's going into the evening. For everyone else who wasn't here, the description of the city of Seastar is illuminated in of blue and silver, and you've kind of been escorted around. When you do kind of wander around, it's not a harsh escort, but just sort of, if you go out in a group, there's kind of one or two of these sea elf guards that go with you, and they have depending on who you've got with you. If you're going slowly, some of you can't swim very well, they'll offer to let you put a hand around the fin of one of their sharks, or perhaps one of their giant seahorses, to kind of help you get around. But these guards typically have sort of long, ornate spears, and they've got these reef sharks. You can see that there's winding streets of soft light and singing currents, and they're sort of towering coral buildings of this place. Spiral towers of living coral, enchanted driftwood forming halls, communal plazas, and delicate bridges of hardened water magic. Bioluminescent gardens drift gently in the current, casting an ever-shifting glow through the streets. The city's upper levels are open to the sea, covered in netted kelp canopies, while the deeper districts are shielded by shimmering domes of magic. And you've been put up in sort of like a bit of a guest house, where when you go through this kind of barrier, the water wicks away from you, and you're in kind of like an air bubble underwater. From memory, Captain Ice-Leeson cast spells upon those of you who can't breathe underwater, so that you could underwater. At least for, I don't know how long that lasted.
I think he said 24 hours.
Yeah, that was a dope one.
despite its beauty, tension rides the current here. As they mentioned, they've been getting raids by lizard folk, and you can see that everyone is a little bit on edge, in particular soldiers. As it's been a couple of weeks, I also want to go around as we get to the evening, and you've all been taken care of somewhat by the local clerics. Karu, of course, you're treated with much reverence, but in the way that a dangerous VIP is treated. Like, you are revered, but it is equal parts fear and admiration. It is not pure joy that you are visiting this church. You easily clock, and anyone else who has a decent enough sort of insight or just wants to sort of clock it, whilst they revere Karu here as obviously someone of great import, it is with a wariness and a level of fear. The currents of Seastar move gently tonight, as if the sea itself mourns. A great circular plaza of bioluminescent coral has been cleared near the Hall of Echoes. Around it, shimmering lanternfish drift in solemn patterns, casting kaleidoscopic light upon the gathering of sea elves. The young sea elf woman you met in the same chamber as the sort of elder, Tralara, her voice steady but heavy with grief, begins the ceremony of the deep remembering, an ancient rite among her people, and she begins to sing a haunting melody in Elvish, echoed by a soft chorus of sea elf voices. At the center of the circle rests a ceremonial driftwood kind of like box, assembled from coral wood and reef branches gathered by hand. And though Lanikar's body was never recovered, the elves have adorned this thing with little sea glass tokens and kelp woven charms, and a coiled pearl inlaid ring, the ring you gave to them when you came back. Whilst singing, she pours a vial of what seems to be some sort of concentrated silver liquid that kind of eeps out through the water and wraps around it and seems to kind of dissolve and melt the container away, and the wood slowly dissolves into the water in glowing trails of bioluminescence. And priests gather the ashes into a gently swirling... So priests gather the ashes, but by sort of dancing and creating currents underwater, where the movement of the bioluminescent debris that gets caught up in the swell and moves around and is kind of like spread out in interesting patterns.
Would it be safe to assume at some point in the last couple of weeks we had a long rest?
You're about to get one.
Sick.
So that's all right.
Because I have 7 hit points.
So, we'll go around. Whilst this sort of singing and dancing is going on, I would like each of you to kind of describe how you're dressed and what you're looking like currently. Cillian, this might be particularly important for you, because as Karu mentioned, or as Katie mentioned, the church has been told to come here, and these guys are not your biggest fans. This village may not know who you are, but people may be on their way who do know who you are. So I want to, whilst you're taking in these festivities, just keep that in mind. I'll come to you second, but Karu, seeing as you're center stage here, these are your people. What does Karu look like currently, and what is he doing during this thing?
Yeah, so Karu, I think, has actually reverted to wearing the kind of clothing that you guys first picked him up in. So it's more his like military. So it's like, I think he's been a bit like loosey goosey and a little bit fashion forward in his time on the ship, and now he's gone back, and so he's wearing like sort of like darker, sort of like blues and aquamarines. So like he almost is difficult to see in the water because with his complexion and then his outfit, he's like essentially camouflage. And I would say that like there's like sort of like a rusting effect on a lot of his clothing. It's very much more an armor, but it's also like a stealth armor, I would say. So he definitely looks more imposing than normal. And I think he's putting up a bit of an air of that as well. Like he's not being his like goofy self. He's kind of like, but I think you can still, anyone with a high enough perception of Karu would just be able to tell, like, he's trying to come off as, like, serious, but he still can't help himself and be a little bit stupid. And he kind of just takes in the scene. I like to think that, like, maybe where he lived, he never really saw a ceremony like this, like, even though, like, he definitely had, like, people die and, like, being in the military and all, they never really took this sort of time to do this kind of ceremony. So he's actually kind of watching it with, I think, the same sort of, like, curiosity as everyone else is. But he's also trying to make it seem like, oh, yeah, I know what this is. Like, he's kind of too busy concentrating on playing the act, I think, than actually taking in what's around him.
Yeah. So if I give you... Is Karu kind of like translating for his companions, like the meaning of the song and stuff?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So you're getting a lot of like, and this is like droning on for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, and Karu's like, you know, Lilith and a little secret. They're actually just saying the same thing over and over in slightly different dialects. And it's basically like return to the sea, return to the depths. Like, it's like return to the sea, return to the waves, be gone back into the depths. Like, it's essentially the same thing over and over again. But it sounds cool.
It sounds like my surf and turf order sometimes.
Also
You know?
that.
Yeah.
Well, no, like they did just say the old, like, there's like a weird dialect if you go further north in the Sea Elves where things get a bit more twangy. They did just say the word for shellfish. So
Hell yeah.
yeah.
So don't turn into a shellfish.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, no.
Okay. Good to know.
I mean, you could do you, but like fish people
Giant
gotta
lobster.
eat. Yeah.
Well, what an excellent point. Cillian, what does Cillian look like currently? And how is he holding himself during the ceremony?
So, would Cillian know how long this ceremony is going to go for? Like, would I be able to find out?
Sure. Yeah, you could certainly ask. I mean, if Karu tells you. Or if you
how
ask some people.
long do I have to keep myself under wraps?
What do you mean? You in trouble?
Some of these guys fucking, maybe not these guys, but like there are guys, you know, that don't like me, and like I feel like some of the guys that don't like me look like these guys, and I don't want to blanket statement.
Some of the guys that don't like you look like me, you know.
Exactly. You don't quite like me sometimes as well, but like some of those guys hate me a lot more.
I don't hate sea elves. I have a friend who's a sea elf.
Yeah.
Lots of my friends are sea elves. Well, it depends. I've actually never been to one of these before, but I think they take a long time, and that's probably why I've never been one of these before. Because where I was, we had shit to do. So I feel like if anything, it's like probably going to be an hour and a half. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. All right. Well, Cillian will like make his way around behind some coral or something.
I think as he does that, Karu's like, "But the church move quick," and then like goes back to like.
Cillian's like, what? I'll alter self, and like, I like to feel like when he goes into his aquatic form, it's like his skin changes color a little bit. It becomes like a more deep blue, bit more camouflaged under here. His horns turn into like fins, but like bony fins because they're still horns, but they're spikes, but they're fin shaped now. And he's got like webbed fingers and toes and gills and stuff. And he'll like take off his sleeveless trench coat, take off his nice buttoned-up shirt that he has underneath. Put the shirt in the bag, put the trench coat back on. He's got to have the gun show out. He's got to be respectful, but a little bit, you know, he's looking out for some cool sea elves that he could spend some time with later, maybe.
This just reminds me of like whenever my dad didn't want to put on a shirt for eating dinner, he'd go and put a vest on because he's like, wow, you know, I'm mostly covering it.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, especially based on the image I have in front of you of sea elves dressing, I think Karu is actually quite prudish compared to a lot of these sea elves.
Yeah.
People overdressed.
yeah, Cillian's just got like a long trench coat on, no pants, no underwear, no boots, just the trench coat, unbuttoned, but with no sleeves.
Can I go next?
And he's got a little piece of coral, just like a bit of coral, just to be modest.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's just whatever angle we see Cillian in, there's just like a fish moving past the camera at just the right height every time. Like we know
it's
there's
like taking
nothing
a really
actually
high,
there, but like there's a
taking a really high step and just like covering
there's like an
everything at a
electric
time.
eel just swimming past during that scene, or like it cuts to a full shot of the whole squad, and there's just like a puffer fish, you know, that expands to kind of cover that area. There's very convenient camera angles, I imagine.
Cillian will come over after about 30 minutes and be like, I understand these guys. Like, this is liberating. I feel great. Like he's like doing stretches and shit.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm so limber. I'm gonna do this up there.
Yes, Pauly, you can.
Right. Seeing as everyone else seems to be naked here, I just, you know, Yama put Pauly in this like little outfit that really just isn't that much Pauly. So, you know, I mean, I'm gonna get naked too, you know, but I'm gonna try to do it sneakily so Yama doesn't see.
Yeah, Yama's like giving you this nice little like silk kimono that feels really nice on your skin, and he's just kind of like wrapped it around you gently, and yeah.
Is there a small sea elf child I can dress in my clothes and then just get them holding Yama's hand instead?
Interesting question. They're still elves. You don't often see elvish children, right? Because they probably kind of hit adult-looking age pretty quickly and then just like never age again.
Is there a dwarf sea elf? That works too.
What? What about just a really big fish?
give me a perception check or an investigation check, Pauly.
Or an octopus?
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Yama's gonna be like, Karu?
Oh my god, yeah, an octopus is a great idea.
Cillian could just like transmute some
What
clothes
do
to
you
be
want me to roll again? Sorry.
Perception or an investigation to kind of find this octopus.
4.
Okay. Yama, do you want to give me a perception check?
I miss reliable talent.
Oh yeah, I'll do that. Percepciones. Oh, natural 20.
Alright. You spot
25.
very quickly Pauly trying to position an octopus to be holding your hand instead of him. And this is a perfect time for Yama for you to tell us what you currently look like at this event as you're holding on to it.
I guess Yama, having dressed Pauly in this beautiful little silken kimono that he happened to have, maybe it was a keepsake from his son or something, but so Yama is similarly dressed in maybe like this is his old like state finery for, you know, military dinners or politicking or something. So he's also wearing like a nice glossy silken kimono that's kind of flowing about him. He looks very like stately and serious, but he's trying, I guess, like in his way to be more relaxed like these sea folk. And he thought that, you know, young Pauly might also appreciate the silken gown. He spots Pauly trying to fandangle his way out of the kimono and somehow latch it onto an octopus. And I think Yama just like looks at him, shakes his head, and sighs, and
Pauly's definitely like a deer in headlights too. He's like, huh?
and he just kind of like does the nod, like go on, get kind of thing.
Can we just say for cartoon effect, just some bubbles are there still wearing the kimono as it falls down to the ground?
Well, this is like how quickly you like disappear. It's like a flash. Like Yama makes this like head motion, like go on, get, and you just like puff, and there's only bubbles left where the kimono is floating gently to the floor.
I like the idea as well that you duck off Pauly, I assume to cause some mischief.
Absolutely.
You're actually
With the octopus.
What's your swim speed, Pauly?
Oh, bugger all, I would assume.
So, good thing to note for those of you landlubbers, such as Pauly and Yama, this may not be relevant to Cillian, because I heard you just said you gave yourself web toes, so I think your alteration can give you swim speed. If you don't have a swim speed natively, your swim speed is half your normal speed.
Oh, so 12 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whilst you're like going really, you know, as fast as you can, even like you're trying to fly, but that doesn't work underwater. I think Diana comes along and she'll get one of those puffer fish, and like there's some seaweed like kelp rope wrapped around it like a balloon, and she attaches it, like she ties it around you, around your waist to kind of give you a little bit of buoyancy. You're still super slow, but now you can kind of like at least swim above the surface of the floor. You know, you've got a little bit of buoyancy to help you out.
I would like that.
Also, you hear her. Well, maybe you don't hear her because your stats are terrible. But Karu, she leans into you and says, "It'll be a lot easier to see here." I saw this at a fantasy Bunnings once. They would put these kind of like balloons or flags on top of children so that you wouldn't like run them over.
Yeah, that's perfect.
I did see that once, but I didn't.
Bounce up and down because Pauly's like, wee!
It's like I did see a bunch of balloons once at a fantasy Bunnings, and I went around popping them all. There were a lot of hurt kids that day.
Yeah.
I don't understand why.
Yeah, all the balloons were for charity, for the charity sausage sizzle.
Yeah.
Excellent. Cool. Well, for the rest of the time, as is their way, the sea elves kind of honoring death with revelry. The bioluminescent jellyfish rising in colorful clusters, illuminating kelp-hung pavilions where food and drink are shared. Stories echo through the coral halls. You know, his snatches of stories of Lanakar's bravery, his reckless daring, his quiet kindness. And then there's a bunch of dancing, slow, graceful, choreographed to the tides, with some people wearing trailing ribbons of seaweed and silver fabric, sort of tied either around their ankles or their wrists as they kind of flow and dance around pretty much naked underwater. And the sea elves invite you to join them in music, dance, or tale telling. They have, you know, coral shell instruments, reed flutes, glowing pearl goblets, and spiced brine wine. Whether your words are clumsy or you dance a little stiff, they smile warmly. Every contribution is a tribute to their fallen brother. Do any of you contribute, take part? And if so, what are you doing?
Cillian will take a shot.
Oh, yeah.
Of the wine.
Yeah,
Because-
the brine wine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the equivalent of like pickle juice, right? Like it is salty. Like you
Hell
obviously
yeah.
they have to give it to you. I like to think it like probably comes in kind of like almost like a jellyfish sack. So you can put it to your lips and like squeeze it to get the full shot, because you can't pour it underwater. But yeah, it's sort of like a little nozzle, and you can kind of like shoot it into your mouth. And yeah, it's like a pickleback.
Hell yeah. Cillian's like, so that guy will be so remembered.
Anyone else, or we want to sort of move along?
I mean, is there anything that seems like an honourable part of this funeral?
You tell me.
I mean, maybe there is. And maybe an octopus and his new best friend Pauly and his pufferfish balloon take that exact moment to ink the corpse.
No.
No.
No. I reckon Karu's been watching you.
Well,
do
let's do some kind of.
his,
Do you want to do some kind of contest in this scenario?
I'll help Kid
Absolutely.
Pauly in this round.
I'm gonna help Karu with my natural 20 perception that never let my eyes leave Pauly.
Yeah, I'd like to think I kind of want to be able to just sneak up behind Pauly so that he thinks he's about to get away with it and then just
Absolutely,
sweep him
I'm
away.
Actually, no,
Yeah.
this is even funnier. I'm going to use my passive investigation to just stand back and watch this happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so Cillian, you have a front row seat. It's almost like the sea of naked sea elves part, and you just see Pauly swimming with his pufferfish balloon. Pauly, what are you saying to this octopus to kind of gear him up, ready to ink into the bioluminescent remains of this elf hero that are, floating through this area and kind of winding around everyone as they dance?
Okay. So, here's the idea. They're all crying. And I think what everyone needs when they cry is a bit of octopus ink in their faces. And we should hide the body and then steal the body, because there's probably something shiny on there.
Alright. So, do you want to? What kind of skill are you using to get in position and ink?
Acrobatics, because I feel like I'm dodging Karu.
No, listen, I want to roll stealth because I want you to think that you're going to do it. You're going to get away with it, but I want to be able to get behind you and just grab you. That was my
Maybe
idea.
I should be rolling for deception, so that way you don't know I'm going to do it yet.
I'm happy to just do a contest of like stealth versus acrobatics here. Like it's you're getting into position, you're trying to be sneaky, you're trying to duck around, behind some kelp banners and things like that to get into a good position. And Karu, you're trying to keep up with him quietly so that you can kind of just grab him by the collar at the last second.
Yep, I like it.
Some of your you'll have to tell me what your rolls are, because I think
17.
Shit, mine's actually coming through. I got 11.
Yama, do you want to explain to me how you were helping Karu?
So I think I'm helping Karu by making an exaggerated, like almost look for Pauly, so he's almost trying to avoid me more than he's noticing Karu. Yeah, I think that's my plan. Is I'm drawing the attention to myself like he does in battle.
How far away
his
is
normal
Yama from
strategy.
where I am?
Depends how far you've swum, because I rolled a natural 20 on my perception to see you leave. So I think I've like kept you in my sights.
I'm just thinking about how Pauly does not care.
Well,
at all,
Karu, that
as
does
long as
give
he
you
won't get caught before he does it.
Karu, that does give you advantage. You have one more chance here. What was your roll again, Pauly?
There we go. I got 17 on the dice.
So Pauly slips through your fingers at first, and you're like, "Oh crap!" As him and the octopus.
It's the pufferfish balloon that Izzy's undoing, because the tentacle just grabs.
Yeah.
Like he slips through my grasp and he's all like, and then just as the tentacle just grabs the string and pulls him back.
And I like to think that, Pauly, you've got the octopus with you, and you're already in position to kind of like squeeze the octopus and make him ink in like the center of everyone. But Karu yanks you back by the pufferfish that you're tethered to, and then you kind of bump into Karu, which makes you squeeze the octopus, and all three of you are just covered in ink.
Absolutely, I'm all for that.
I think Karu uses the octopus ink as an opportunity to just like pull us completely away, because there's because he's got these like devices that octopuses ink to stealth, so he kind of like he knows that. So when the octopus goes off, he uses an opportunity to get us as far away from it, the freaking corpse, as possible. And as he's doing it. And as he's doing it, he like lifts like baby Pauly up close, and he's just like, the best kind of prankster knows when there is a good prank and knows when it is a bad prank.
This would have been very funny.
This would have been a bad prank. You are not ready, little one.
And at that point, Cillian will walk over to the group as well, because I've been watching this whole thing unfold. Give Kid Pauly a little slap on the back of the head and be like, you shouldn't be doing that, but then like, it was pretty funny though.
I love it. I have bad influences and then good influences.
It's very even split.
Fine, Uncle Karu. I won't ink the body.
Find a different prank to pull that it doesn't decimate a corpse.
Okay.
I don't know. Just
I'm
a
gonna
thought.
squeeze the octopus again right into Cillian's face.
Sure.
Thing is, we're covered in ink. I just feel it was rude for
Yeah.
not just us.
Go include him. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Can I react?
Sure.
I have two options. I either kick him in the face and like jump back. No, I'll misty step back. Just outside of the range of the ink, and be like, nice try.
Yeah, I think especially with the octopus, this is its second inking in as many minutes. It's not as full forced, but you, from your point of view, Pauly, you see the ink cloud go off towards Cillian, and then when the ink kind of eventually dissipates, you see that Cillian is standing sort of like 15 feet away.
No fair! You can't use spells.
I didn't. I just stepped back. You're too slow.
I'll remember that.
I'm faster than you now.
That's true, yes.
And I can drink more.
No, that's just.
He says, as sucking back another pickleback.
Even a toddler can drink more than Cillian.
Oh.
Hello?
Yeah.
I thought I lost you guys.
Right, so for the rest of the evening, we'll kind of speed along. The rest of the evening you spend in some amount of revelry, but eventually all of you who need it are kind of taken back to, or led back to the sort of guest chambers where dry and breathe regular air. Karu, you are invited to. I mean, you're welcome to like stay at the church, or obviously like stay with your friends. Plenty of the sea elves like invite you for a drink and like a chat, but very pointedly like don't invite you to stay. Yeah. Again, that kind of like undercurrent of fear. Like there's a lot of respect and a lot of like, of course, like we would love to chat with you, and when they do chat, like it is very nice and lovely. But it seems like you're not sort of a welcome house guest. Yeah.
I think Karu kind of likes that. I think he plays into it. I think he just kind of goes, all right, I'm going to be that, like, I'm not going to be my usual jovial, like, jokey self. I think I am going to fall into what they think of me. So I think he does, like, also almost like a muscle memory, go into a much more militant, like, straight backed, still friendly, but yeah, he will absolutely, like, go through the motions of accepting drinks, accepting the company, but then it's almost like he cues them when they're done, rather than them being like, oh, okay, can you leave? He just, like, it's almost like he's like, yep, formalities, and he just, like, yeah, I think he kind of weirdly is enjoying this.
Yeah, you can tell it's like that. There seems to be like a power imbalance. It's like when there's a big power imbalance, right? Like they don't want to ask you to leave, and they never do, but they kind of aren't encouraging you to stay much longer after like a little bit of like niceness has happened, and it gets kind of icy and chilly. You're not asked to leave, and you kind of have free reign to do what you want, and they are very friendly and accommodating. But you do realize like you start to get that vibe of like, oh, these people are scared of you.
Yeah,
have
and
an
I
impression about, if not you specifically, then what you represent.
Yeah, so I think like the reason why he decides to play into that part is mostly so it's easier for them. Like I think it's Karu being like considerate of these people who are clearly like scared of him, but also trying to revere him. So I think he just goes, "All right, I'm gonna play this role. I know how to do this." So yeah, he's being a bit cold and a bit militant, but mostly because he just thinks it's going to be easier for them. Like
That's what they
for
expect.
Yeah, exactly. So he's like, oh, well, I'll play this part. I won't try and confuse them by just being myself. I will play this particular role. And also, he's like, and also this will help us with the fact that we lied and we weren't sent here by the church. But yeah. So yeah, I think he just plays. I feel like he just falls into whatever he needs to do for the evening, which is playing this role.
Anyone else do any final things before kind of calling it a night?
I do think that Yama maybe goes around and maybe is a bit more formal about it. Like, I think he's not sure how to mesh with the society. It's so like out of the norm for him in terms of like freedom, and people are just doing whatever the hell they want, and he's like, this is confusing as hell to me. But he definitely like makes an effort to make conversation with like all the kind of, I guess, spiritual leaders or whatever that they've been introduced to. Yeah, I think he's just goes out of his way a bit more maybe, and puts in the effort for those kind of niceties, almost in a way of like really smoothing and trying to massage this alliance as much as possible.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess in particular, eventually, as old people do at parties when everyone else is dancing, but you don't have the energy, and of course, like, whilst you can breathe underwater thanks to Captain Icelison's spell, you're still quite slow going underwater. Even in your full dress uniform, perhaps there's not a lot of armor to it, but with that sword, on you, it kind of pins you to the ground pretty effectively, and you're like a nautilus kind of walking along a diver walking along the seafloor kind of thing.
Yeah. But he's already just like a very dense guy himself too, which is probably like why he made an effort to ditch his armor and just wear this kimono, because he felt so out of place. So I think that's so right. Just like strolling along, the ocean floor, doing his best.
Yeah. It's very like Man on the Moon, kind of like you step and kind of move slowly through the water. Eventually, I think you are invited to perhaps sit and have tea with the star singer, the speaker for the elves, the sort of elderly elf that you met when you arrived.
Mm.
And she kind of, you maybe gravitate to her a little bit as she radiates that wisdom and kind of ancient strength, and you potentially know that if she's an elf, and if she looks old as an elf, she's mega old.
Yeah.
Which expired 7 years ago.
And I definitely think. Why don't you give me a persuasion check? Because you said you're kind of going around being friendly.
Yeah, I think he's literally like, he would be so enamored by this person. That I think he's literally asking, like, do you have children? Like, what is your life like down here? He's asking all these like small odd things because this is so alien to him. And he just really wants to like know and understand. Like, he's become such a traveler in his old age since leaving the hobgoblins, and this is like the coolest thing ever, probably to him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a natural 19 for a 22.
Oh, huge.
Yeah, huge.
So, yeah, you're kind of being lovely and friendly. Most of the sea elves you run into certainly speak common, and seem quite accommodating to you. There are maybe a couple of the guards who weren't fully filled in on who you are, a little bit standoffish to begin with. Obviously, perhaps they've dealt with hobgoblins, but you often notice like like an elbow to the ribs kind of thing from one of their friends, and like a hushed conversation in Elvish, and then they're like quite friendly, potentially with furtive glances over at Karu, and then quite friendly. But you find a sort of an area where like the moonlight is kind of rippling through the kelp canopies like that, and it's painting kind of silver patterns. And there's this kind of coral and kelp bed that has bioluminescent shells pulsing softly. And sitting on sort of just on the, or maybe even just floating just above the seabed floor is Cillian, Starsinger, the Speaker of Seastar. And she has kind of this almost like a driftwood slab decorated with mother of pearl and sea sponges and stuff like that. And there are delicate cups seemingly carved from translucent sea glass. But they're all kind of like floating, like they've almost like hit an equilibrium. So they're like just above the driftwood table. So she's there calm, regal, even in seating. And she seems to be pouring some kind of tea, and it's like the silver liquid you saw at the funeral. It like cuts through the water you're in, and then splashes into the glass. It seems to be like much denser and holds together. So sort of like I was thinking like a cocksucking cowboy shot. Like there's layering to the.
Yeah. Is this more dense and floats to the bottom?
Yeah. Or like that Kraken cocktail that you can get that makes like all the tentacles.
With the like brain stuff?
Yeah.
That's so
I was
cool.
going to say it's just mercury.
Yeah, could just be, maybe they're just stuffing mercury down here like Isaac Newton.
It would explain a few things. They're blue.
Well, I guess Yama approaches like slowly, and he's like, "Oh, my lady Starsinger, I'm so intrigued by what you have there. I'm quite a connoisseur of tea myself."
She sits there kind of in that sort of seated position, and she kind of motions for you to come join her. She's obviously very regal, kind of like floating there. If you're on the surface, this would be like a levitation kind of thing, but obviously being underwater, she's kind of hit that equilibrium herself. She motions for you to sit down. She's definitely older and wearing these kind of golden green robes, but I guess like unlike everyone else, she's maybe being a little bit more modest. These robes, obviously, a station of a part of her station, but even they kind of flow brilliantly, as if caught by an underwater current, revealing much of her beautiful elven frame as she motions for you to sit down, as elegantly as you can.
Yeah, as he kind of like thinks, like almost with like a thud, like a rock next to her. But I like to think his kimono is also doing this cool floaty thing.
Very good. The sea remembers its own, as quietly as she kind of hands you one of these sea glass cups full of.
He takes a big sip. Like, what does it? Is it like salty or is it?
I think it's probably like a
How
very.
are you drinking underwater?
Struggling? I don't know. Do I have like a bubble, like mouth thing? Like, what is the dealio?
I can't remember if we ever established how Captain Icelison's magic worked. Whether I think it might have been bubbles over the head.
It was spell of water breathing. I don't know if
Yeah.
that gives us like gills or
Maybe
what.
it gives you gills. Yeah. Well, you can drink it like yeah. This is magic fantasy world. You know, let's not break our disbelief on underwater, underwater tea.
Yeah, Timmy, let me drink my tea.
Murky tea.
I was just thinking about it. I was like, actually, how's this happening? Sorry.
Especially when I made Cillian drink his shots from a jellyfish butthole. But
Mine came from like a little dive bar, okay?
That's
mine was
how
a
it
dive
is.
bar. There's
It's
a difference.
all to a jellyfish butthole. Like, that's what's happening. Okay?
No, mine was a dive bar. This is a cocktail bar, okay? There's a difference
Yeah.
here. Like Cillian's like peering through the cracks with like Kid Pauly, and he's like,
Does that mean?
These
does
are
that
the
mean
difference of
it's
drinking.
Yeah. Does that mean it's like an enemy butthole because you're in a fancier spot and everyone
Yes.
knows anemones are just fancy jellyfish?
Exactly.
Whereas Karu's harem is all headed to the sea cucumber bar, to just dance on tables and yell
Lick
suggestive
sea cucumbers.
things. At the,
This is why Cillian has Kid Pauly with him. You're too young for that. So...
Too young for the sea cucumber bar.
But old enough for jellyfish buttholes. That's great.
Exactly. We're waiting till you're 13, young man.
But I want to see him now.
No, we're gonna start you on cigarette. Oh, we can't do that. We're underwater. Never mind. Maybe later.
There's so the tea itself, Yama, is sort of like it tastes kind of like a lavender tea. While it smells faintly of salt and wild water lilies, it's almost got like a mentholy kind of lavender feel. It's almost like it's hot. It's still a hot tea, but it's almost got like a cooling, refreshing taste as you drink it down. Sort of like standing on the beach and getting sprayed by the ocean.
Cool, weird. I like it.
So as you sip, she says, even those who did not begin in it find their way to the sea in time. I suspect you have always known Yama.
How interesting that you say so when I come from such a landlocked country. And you're right, yet here I am, and I find myself at such peace amongst your people. It's so strange to me. I do not understand your customs. I am so glad that you speak common. I do love this tea, and you're right. I like it here, although initially, I must confess I was extremely uncomfortable at the thought of going underwater. Heavy armor and long sword and all that. I feel quite a fish out of water.
She gives you this sort of like slow smile at that clever dad pun. and perhaps seems perhaps you're beginning to understand the shape of your journey. Ocean does not demand answers, merely offers.
I definitely feel lighter. And
With enough
perhaps
ale, maybe they can be
a little
inured
bit
against
further
the
from my
horrors
troubles.
below.
At least for now. It is quite nice to have a break.
I think at that, she is sort of leaning closer to you and then like pours you another cup of tea, but obviously very, very suggestively, as she kind of leans forward, you know, the underwater currents catching her robes in such a way. Just like in the casino, Yama, despite being surrounded by water, you feel sort of a bit of a heat under the collar, perhaps, as this ancient elf views you in this, you know, in this semi-secluded coral bioluminescent garden.
So Cillian's gonna now step in really quickly and just be like, grab Pauly by the scruff and be like, "You don't need to see this either." Just like dragging him away. It's like, God damn!
You guys never let me do anything fun.
All right. It's okay. Just trust me. I'll let you look at the sea cucumber bar for 10 seconds. Okay? But if I get to look, I get to look first and make sure that it's okay for your viewing. And I'll tell you what, if it's not, I'll give you a sip of beer.
The sea cucumber that you peer in, sea cucumber bar is just everybody's naked, just genitalia. No, but the genitalia's out and swinging, and it's hitting each other. You know, penises and boobs are hitting each other and ricocheting off.
Yeah.
The liquid is flowing, but it's like doing like swirls around. Yeah.
There's no like jellyfish or octopus or pufferfish in that bar. They're strictly banned from that bar.
It is suspicious that there are no fish in there at all. They've all been ferried out.
I walk over. I see with my like.
But for some reason, it smells like clam chowder.
Yeah, always.
I see with my very high passive investigation through like a little crack in the wall. Like before we're even near the bar, I'm like, nope. Turn around, drag him away again.
Like as you get closer, Cillian, you spot with your passive investigation, you clock super quickly that it's not just, you know, dancers in upright cages. It's dancers in like upside down on the roof, because like what is gravity when you're water? But instead of like some of them are like shark dive cages, some of them like just like fish nets, big fishing nets and stuff like that. There's definitely an over the top vibe, and you hear a lot of wooing from what are, you know, good companions. You hear a very specifically, you know, Aveline, Diana, Loam, yelling a lot, and you hear the clinkling of coins being thrown about the room.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, nope, we can't do that.
Really, the car is on the pole.
Yeah.
Cillian's gonna like crouch down to like young Pauly and be like, "Young Pauly, my boy, that you don't need to see that. We're gonna go, all right? We are gonna go to this place I heard of.
Anywhere but here.
It's called the Salty Kelp.
Ooh.
It's they sell fish wings, picklebacks. This cool beer. It's called a Kolsch. And we're gonna go there. I'll let you try a Kolsch. I feel like that's a nice starter for you.
That sounds great to me. Let's go.
And then, if that goes well, I'll get you a Brack Daniels. Okay.
Ooh, Brack Daniels.
Yeah.
And this is where it begins. And we're gonna go off and do. Well, I'm gonna insist that we go and do that.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Got to keep him somewhat curious.
I love it.
Yeah, better an alcoholic than a pervert. That's fair.
Exactly.
So is Karu? You know, it's late in the evening. Have you moved into the sea cucumber and you're like putting on a show as well, kind of thing? Like, are you reveling in it? You're just caught up in the everything.
See, I think
Everything.
Karu would put on a show, except that he's doing the whole I'm like a strict military guy. But I also do think he probably gets to a point where he can't keep that act up. So I think maybe he ends up at the sea cucumber, and at first he's doing the yes, yeah, no, and then I think he has a few. He keeps having a few.
I think you hear a couple of sea elves in Elvish, like, because they see you like chatting with the girls and stuff. They're like, "Oh yes, he's taken a vow of celibacy. He's only got three partners."
The whole bar. I feel like the bar definitely has like a privacy mode. Like there's like there's two wall. There's an outer wall and an inner wall, and the in between those there's just heaps of octopus. You like ring a bell and they all ink. Shuts the curtains.
Yeah. Or there's like what are those like things in the coral where it's you know, like plants that grow, but when they get scared they all like shoop away. So
Yeah,
like
they're
like
enemies, aren't they?
Maybe they're an enemies.
Yeah, they'd be a type of an enemy. Sure.
I feel like that's part of the show. Like part of the like underwater burlesque show is they have those things, and that's the like the reveal is when they pull
Oh my
away.
god, they could be the tassels.
Yeah, they're the feathers that they like flicker out.
Yeah, they're like the
almost
tassels.
instant.
Yeah, I do think that like Karu, because he's like been accepting drinks from all these people and he's been playing it is going to get to a point where it's going to hit him, and I think he gets to the sea cucumber and he sees like everything happening and it's totally his jam, and I think he's just like and he just kind of like maybe forgets in his drunkenness and in his urge to do a little pole dance that he's been playing this.
Yeah, I'm just imagining like some basically like Karu's stripper song. So like maybe like Umbrella by Rihanna.
Yeah, like his
Here's the
song.
and he goes, okay, I can't help that. Yes.
You know, it's like it's his song comes on and he's just like, oh, you know what, fine, and he like he gets completely involved and he is himself again in a maybe a very confronting way for these people because he's just having a
I'm
little
imagining
dance.
Karu like accidentally flexes as he gets excited, and like all the buttons on his shirt just like pop open, and he's like, "Fuck it."
He's like, well, I guess this is what I have to do now. Yeah.
Yeah,
You know, and maybe
you see Aveline like winking at the other girls from next to the jukebox where she chose this song.
Yeah. And I think he actually like goes up to her and like says thank you, because like I think he might have been getting lost in like having to play that character, and then he's just like, no, you know what, we'll deal with this. And I think he's like, you know, just surely these people from the church, you know, have to cut loose sometimes. And I think he just reverts back and he's butt naked, swollen around, putting on a show.
Love that. Give me a performance check.
No.
Yes.
I have a -1 to my performance.
Even better.
It's a 13.
Not great, not terrible.
Yeah.
13 Drunken.
I'm very drunk. He's a
Yes.
very
that's
drunk boy right now.
drunkenness.
Yeah. And so is everyone else, right? Like it's the end. It's at the end of a big night.
We all think it's amazing, but someone's filming it, and when we watch it back the next day, we're like, "Oh."
Well, no, someone's filming it, and they're kind of laughing, and then you see like a couple of the owners of the sea cucumber are like, you better delete that magic crystal. Like this is a member of the church. We have to. So I think that everyone acts like it is an amazing performance.
No.
That's
But
worse.
it's as good as
He doesn't
you
like
think
that.
a 13 is.
he doesn't like that. But I think he like.
I think everyone's
Karu...
like, everyone's involved. Everyone's, a 13's not bad, but
No,
you're
no,
not
no.
the superstar.
Pauly
you
would have
maybe
thought it
think
was
you
an
are.
amazing show if he was allowed to see it. Jesus.
Hey, I'm giving him alcohol, okay?
Nobody's salty here.
I mean, yeah, I think Karu has put on many an average performance, but not cared. So I think he doesn't care, but also I don't think he particularly enjoys the fake. Oh, this is great. He's like, no, you can be honest with me. It's fine. Like, I don't do it to be good. I do it because it's fun.
Well, that's it. I think everyone's like, they're in the mood. This is what you come to this place for. It's like going to a karaoke bar and going like, wow, they're terrible. Like, that would just be bad form.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's just out there putting their heart out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We're just having a time.
And, yeah.
What would Karu's stripper song be? That's what I'm thinking now.
You have to give me a moment to think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While
I'm
we
having
do,
a think
Pony
about it.
by Genuine.
Let's cut to Yama. How's Yama going with this kind of attention and that kind of warm, refreshing tea in his belly as he's
Yeah, I think as this tea warms down his body, he absolutely leans closer and gets cozier and lets all this happen.
So yeah, whilst you're kind of leaning in closer, I think the speaker, she's kind of leaning in, and she seems to be whispering quieter and quieter, which kind of causes you to lean in a little bit more as well.
Yeah.
And when you were saying perhaps there's things I don't quite understand, and I'm wanting to understand and things like that. Yeah, she's giving you the. You're not meant to understand everything. Only act when the tide calls you. And I think she's kind of at that point now where she's leaning in, putting I think she puts a steadying hand on your thigh and kind of pushes you back down to the sea floor if you've been floating up a little bit, or you're keeping your
losing control. Yeah.
Yeah, your equilibrium not quite perfect. And
there's a part that's getting redder, but it's not his face.
Yes, Yama turning warmer. What's Yama's reaction?
I think Yama is finding this so freeing. He absolutely relaxes into the strange current and lack of balance that he's experiencing. Yeah, he's enjoying himself. His spirits are high. This is a weird, I guess, encounter for him.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of goes with it. He's gentlemanly about it. Yeah.
But yeah, whilst everyone else is causing mischief and drinking the harder stuff, Yama, you're sitting here having a lovely cup of tea, perhaps talking about just small things,
Mm-hmm.
and then eventually, it's sort of late. It's very late in the night. The yelling from sea cucumber is sounding more and more distant and further away. And you go to put your cup down, and it says, "Not yet. One more cup. Sea carry the burden. Have need of your perhaps fade away from that view. Fade back in the light of day, daylight trickling through the sea above."
Just very quickly, Karu's stripper song is "Rock the Boat" by Aaliyah.
Love that. I'm gonna blast. I don't know what that song is, but I'm gonna blast it. Obviously,
It's very sexy.
Just of course it's Rock the Boat as well.
Yeah, I mean, that too. I was like, it has to be. I was like, Aaliyah. I'm like, Aaliyah does sexy music. I'm like, Aaliyah has a song that's like water related and sexy.
Water related.
Perfect.
Cool. So when it comes to morning, you'll get a long rest. Perhaps some of you
Amazing.
longer than others.
I hope Pauly was tucked in with his octopus.
Yeah, despite Pauly trying to stay up late, I assume like you do go to like you fall asleep pretty early, and Cillian has to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh no,
push you
Killian's just
around.
like been giving him like little bits of alcohol. Like here's a beer, but it's like 10% beer. The rest is water.
Yeah.
Just to get him nice and pliable for it's bedtime. Come on, buddy. And he's like, I'm so
He's like
tired all
falling.
of a
He's
sudden."
falling asleep on like on Cillian. You know what I mean?
Killian has to carry him back.
Obviously, you're welcome to go to like those guest chambers, or if you prefer to sleep on the ship, you can sleep on the ship. That does require like going back up to the surface. Yeah,
I
you
feel
all get
like
along-
Killian would take him back. Killian would like polymorph into a shark and then swim us back up there. Because then it's like he can't get up to any mischief if he's not down here.
Sure.
At least on the ship, it's contained.
Yep. Yeah, good.
And Killian also doesn't want to stay down there in case the church arrives while he's asleep and he looks like him.
Excellent point. Excellent point. Karu, where did you sort of spend the night, and where how do you in the morning?
I would have definitely slept in the whatever chamber they had offered to me, but like Evelyn and Diana and I forgot her name. the cleric. Fiera, thank you. Karu definitely remembered her name. They all went with him. And then they spent the night. And I think he's fine the next morning. I think he's like, oh, that's right. Sea elf alcohol doesn't actually hurt you. Like, it's perfect. It's got the right amount of like seaweed in it or something to.
Well, you're so hydrated being underwater.
Yeah, exactly. So he wakes up nice and early, feels good, gives everyone a kiss on the cheek, and then I think he heads out pretty early and like is polite to everybody as he walks past to meet wherever the hell everyone is. He's like, where did I go?
Is Yama doing the walk of shame, or did he bow out like a gentleman?
I think he stayed the night. I think they spent like so long like chatting and
Chatting,
like,
that's what they call it.
Yeah, chatting. He learned so much about her life. I think he's like legit coming home with this like spring in his step.
Yeah.
His knee is better all of a sudden.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I woke up, like feeling like no aches and pains for like the first time in a while, and he's like, damn, I feel good. And like
We'll go
small
over this later,
Pauly sees
Pauly.
Yama and is like, is this how it always is?
Yep.
I like to think that like Killian's like
I
up on the
embarrassed
ship.
Kate so hard with that description that her camera died.
Camera cut out. Yeah.
I literally pushed my book into my USB and it disconnected. So I was like, damn it.
Someone else is a bit hot under the collar.
I had to get up and turn my heater off.
Cillian will like get up, and then like, is it like a nice day on deck?
Excellent question. Probably, yeah. I think it's probably a nice summery day.
Cillian will like whip out this like tiny little barbecue set thing, and he's like, "Oh, Pauly's gonna be so hungover. I gave a child alcohol. God damn it! All right, I'll fix him." And he's like making some eggs, and he's like caught some fish, and he's like cooking up a nice breakfast that'll like help get rid of that hangover real quick. And he'll come in and be like, it'll be like, I'm imagining it's probably like, I don't know, 6 or 7 a.m. Like it's way too early to be waking up a hungover person. But he's like gonna walk in and like open Pauly's door and be like, Pauly, It's time to get up.
All you see is like just like an absolute ruffle of feathers. Just they're not a single feather is going the right way. And he's like, yeah.
It's okay, buddy. Come with me. I'll fix you. And he'll like bring him out onto the deck, sit him down, give him like a glass of whatever juice he could scrounge up from the ship's larder. Like, drink this. This will help you a little bit. Might make your stomach feel a bit weird.
Frank Daniels is scary.
It's the good stuff. It gets better. Trust me. That'll put a hair on your chest. Well, you're covered in feathers, but you know what I mean. You're like, here you go. I caught this fish just before. There's some eggs. Just eat this. And he'll sit down and he'll like eat a little piece of fish. He's giving Pauly like the king's share because he's hungover as fuck. He's gonna die. He needs to eat. And like make sure that he's okay, and then be like, all right, you ready? Ready to go back down?
Yeah.
We're gonna meet up with the others.
Yeah.
All right, and I'm gonna like jump off the ship and be like, when I say jump in, when I open my mouth, jump into my mouth. Wait for me to transform first, though. Like,
Pauly just belly flops into like the water, like just smacks the surface.
oh god, Cillian will like grab him and just like
sink.
Cillian grabs him, like throws him into the air, turns into a whale, and will like Geppetto him, and then bring us back down to the bottom, let him out, and then turn back into himself. Once he's found, like, he'll like bob around above everybody, like looking for someone. And then as soon as he sees, like, I'm assuming he'll see Karu first.
Yeah, Karu's actually out bright and early. Mostly just because, like, comedically, it's funnier if you're all kind of reconvening as Yama does his walk of shame.
Absolutely.
Not a walk of shame, it's a skip of pep. I don't know.
But he's got his kimono slung over his shoulder.
His hair is like not in this beautiful top knot that you guys are used to.
It's flowing up behind him like Fabio.
Yeah, it's luscious. Yeah.
I like to.
Always just gonna go. Always just gonna point at Yama and go, Yama did the sea cucumber.
Yeah, Karu's like eyes are like watering because he's so proud. He's just like.
Cillian's
you guys
just
are
like
embarrassing me, and who taught Pauly that?
Cillian's sitting there like a stressed, like just rubbing his head like a stressed dad. Just like, glad you guys had fun last night. I was up all night looking after our child.
It's about time you took some of the responsibility.
I was gonna say, like, the first night.
I threw up 7 times.
Why did you throw up so many
Don't
times?
worry about that. Don't worry. Guys.
I drank a lot of beer.
Oh, what else did you drink, Pauly?
Yeah, how small.
Cillian's like ducking away. He's all yours now.
No, Cillian, get back here.
Turns into a fish and like swims away.
That's not how child rearing works.
It helps. Karu, I was bringing him to see you. I saw the crack in the wall. I decided against it.
Okay, you made one good call last night.
We were also like making sure that Yama wasn't going to get got, and then I saw that Yama was going to get got in a better way, so I took him away from that.
Oh, you saw that? Oh.
Well, no, I didn't see it.
I saw it.
I saw what was implied.
I saw you. I saw one part of you get more red.
So I took him.
Also,
I took him to a bar. That was the only way I was getting him away from seeing what you guys were doing.
Pauly just, I kind of just like somehow in the background just goes, nice cock.
Cillian just like slaps him again. Like, what did I say?
Of all the places you could have taken him to, you didn't need to take him to a bar.
There was nothing else open.
You could have just
Not
taken back to the ship.
There was no way. He either wanted to watch Yama get got or see what you were
Stop
doing.
saying that.
I couldn't take him back to the ship. It wasn't going to work. So I took him to a bar. I fed him some food. I gave him, realistically,
Joe.
it was like a thimble of beer to like a jug of water. Like I gave him the littlest amount ever just to keep it so he had the taste.
Look, I get it. You had good intentions, but you made it so much
Got
harder
in a
for
nice
yourself
fight
than
with
you
a
needed to.
monkey.
What?
We don't
Okay,
talk about
that's
that.
normal.
Yeah, Cillian put bets on me.
I killed the monkey. It's okay.
This is
So
just getting
good.
worse and worse. You know,
But
I
I
get
swam him home.
I know what you're
caught him
doing.
some fish. I made him fish and eggs.
No, I
Yeah,
Give
but
him
I,
this is
juice.
weaponized incompetence.
yeah,
man.
I'm gonna say we can see what you're
Exactly.
doing. No, you
Failing
still,
upwards.
no, you're gonna
I'm
you're
the
gonna have to
best
get
dad.
better.
I
Yeah.
won the
I'm
fight
the
with
fun
the monkey.
dad. Yeah, because I killed
We're
it.
just gonna have to give you more practice at
Yeah, you're gonna need to-
looking after Pauly.
Yeah, you need more nights with him. Clearly,
Jesus
you haven't.
Christ! I had to.
We'll leave you a list of
I'm
things
going
you can
back to
do
the
other
bar.
than go to the bar.
I need a Bloody Mary. And Cillian just like trudges off. The bar's closed. He comes back. He's like, "Oh, shut."
Okay, as Cillian trudges off, Karu goes to Pauly. Good, nice work. Good job. You really ruffled his feathers somewhat.
Yeah, that monkey didn't stand a chance.
I'm concerned about that, but you know, we'll deal with that later.
Yeah, we'll
Monkey's
definitely
dead.
talk about that later.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
as you all kind of reconvene, perhaps eventually making your way back up ship, have a heading on where to go to the rest RH. Kind of over the ruins of Rest Tomorrow, sort of an old sea elf town that was kind of half underwater, half above, a little bit to the north. Unfortunately, Yama, you weren't able to find anyone the helmet that you're after, but they do offer you a couple of 2 breathing bubbles to take with you. It says it regains all its expended air daily at dawn. I will say that like it has to be above, like outside the water, right?
Okay.
But it's a bubble-like sphere that you can put over your head like a helmet, and it contains 1 hour of breathing air. And so they give you
Amazing. Thank you.
Cillian, I didn't get to send in my list, but Cillian would be looking for if there was any form of wizard down there.
no real
A
wizards.
wizard.
Like certainly clerics.
Nah, they can't do it.
They can't do what you are.
Killian's just
no-
trying to replenish that scroll of teleport that he burnt to save people.
Yeah, not a lot of paper underwater here.
I know. They had like a laminated book
Checks
that I
out.
could like copy it from.
Yeah. Or like those metal tablets, like in the Mummy, where they've got like the
Yeah.
gold book. Not good. Any other?
Or even
things
like a stone tablet that had it like carved in it that I could just steal.
any
steal
kind
an
of like
artifact.
common potions, uncommon potions?
I mean, a couple of potions of healing maybe might be good. I might do that. How much are they? Like, what's the most powerful or the most potent potion of healing I could buy?
Because of who you are, Karu, and your good standing in place, they can offer you two potions of superior healing
Cool.
from the church, and they'll be 1,500 each to give them to your cost price, or they have a great number of greater healing potions for 150 each.
Okay, well, I'll just do the greater, because I can't... Wait, what is that? Oh, that's platinum. How much is platinum?
1 platinum
It's
gold.
gold?
Oh, wow, hang on. Let me...
Can I also grab some of these healing potions?
Sure thing. Yep.
Can I grab one of the supreme healing
Not
ones?
Supreme, Superior.
Superior. Can I get one for 1500? Yep. Do that. Apparently, I had like 950 gold, but in platinum. And I was just like,
Yeah.
I'll pay my tab at the bar as well. How much would that be to get me and Pauly a little bit drunk?
Well, for you and Pauly to get drunk, it was probably only like, it was probably only like 20 silver, right? Like,
I'll give them a gold. I'll like flick them a gold, but I'm taking a bottle of Brack Daniels with me.
yeah.
Because I'm gonna teach Pauly how bottles of Brack Daniels work.
Other options, they do have some basic stuff like potions of speed, potions of resistance. Gee, I don't think they'd have any potions of strength. You guys have some of those in the bag already.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Cillian does have a potion of water breathing. So before we go back up, he'll be like, "Here, Pauly, drink this. This will make you feel better." As well. To
Pauly,
save
drink
the spell slot.
Oh yeah. It's a cloudy green fluid that smells of the sea and has a jellyfish-like bubble fluid.
I'll drink it.
Yep, it's
You
a
can
great
breathe
hangover
underwater
cure.
for an hour.
Yeah, because we're going back up to the surface, aren't we? Like this is
Yeah.
before we went back up to the surface. I gave it to him to just make it easier to get him up there.
Well, also because Captain Ice Leeson's spell lasted 24 hours. You guys probably have a bit of time on that, but you definitely
Okay.
have that ready to go, which you might need. All right, I will along as you make your way north. The sort of early morning, water grows unnaturally still as the vessel glides into the heart of the west. There's the water below you seems to kind of stretch out deeper. The kind of light blues of the sea give way to darker as the depth drop away somewhat, and heavy scent to the air, brine mixed with the rot of sunken wood and long drowned growth. Stillness broken only by the occasional call of birds circling above, whisper of kelp brushing side of your ear, a whole breath. Who's on what? Who's up in the
I'll take first watch.
what do you what is your passive?
Passive perception of 16 and a passive investigation of 24.
What would you kind of be on the lookout for?
Anything hanging out just below the waves that could be perceived as a threat.
Excellent.
And
point,
then
because you're-
more actively as well, anything that would like give away the fact that we're nearing our destination.
So despite like the water getting darker, you can see the sort of tops of buildings underwater. You notice like the different kind of movement under that water, despite it being quite dark. You know, those little bits of change underwater catch your eye. They're not moving so much as you notice that there are buildings, or the ruins of buildings below you. And this probably looks very familiar to you, Cillian, because I think you probably went to somewhere similar to this when you stole, put into a museum trident that you found unattended in an old sea elf ruin.
And kind of want back.
So yeah, you see sort of time-worn structures. They're upper levels, sometimes barely protruding from the waves. Most of them sort of at some kind of weird or at seemingly unnatural angles as the light is refracted. The remains of these once grand buildings you can see below you.
Do I see anything that would like look like a much wider, larger structure that my old procurement of fine artifacts past would let me notice to be like, there might be something cool in there.
Well, as you're kind of glancing around, you do notice there are two structures that seem to be big enough to actually be breaching the surface. Now, they are a ways off, actually. You only spot these because they're sort of somewhat on the horizon. One is a bell tower of coral streaked stone jutting from the water, maybe quarter mile ahead. And you can also see what appears to be some sort of broad domed hall, cracked and waterlogged, lying a bit closer to the sea's heart, and somewhat surrounded by walkways. These things kind of, especially the bell tower, kind of draws your attention first. And with your understanding of kind of how deep it is below you, that bell tower is either floating, which seems unlikely for a stone building, or it reaches down.
I'll point that out and I'll be like, that giant dome, that seems like bad juju. That seems like every dome that I've seen that comes out above the waves, or is under the waves, or has anything to do with fucking waves, always has something very old and very angry in it. Like that, the guys that have, oh shit, Cillian just like remembers something, and he's like, the guys that have been like chasing me, those cultists, their boss is from one of them giant domes. That was a lot deeper than this though. So like, it could be okay. It could be like his little brother, or it could be nothing. I still want to go in there though. Like, I feel like there's some cool shit in there.
Maybe don't steal it this time. Maybe that'll help.
Never.
It's just a thought. I know that's you're not going to do that.
That's where I found the trident last time.
Uh-huh.
You're a sea elf, don't you want a trident?
Yeah, I want.
Cool.
Yeah, I've asked. Yeah, I want the trident. I've said that, but you haven't finished telling me what the trident is. Remember?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
There might be a new one.
I'm not going to take it until I know what it is.
I'll take it.
No.
I'm already cursed.
You don't need it. You got a sword and you're
no,
a
but I'll
wizard.
take it for you.
Trident.
I'm already cursed. Like,
you're going to take it. You're going to take a new trident. Gotcha.
Yes,
okay.
I'll give you another one. Like, what are they going to do? Send another weird cult after me?
No, I'm part of that.
There's already one. Whatever.
Wait, you're in a cult?
No, I'm part of the same people that like are following him.
Yeah, but the fish people as well. Yeah, there's a different cult.
Pauly goes, you can't assume what they are by just calling them fish people. That's racist, Uncle Kim.
No, there's actual fish people. They almost killed you one time. You won't remember this, but shut up. Anyway. The adults are talking here.
Hey, don't talk down to him.
I physically have to. He's smaller than me.
Beneath the surface.
But not where it matters. I've got heart. That's what Yama says.
I got you drunk.
Vague shapes flicker
It's like
and
a little bit.
shift.
Sorry.
Fallen rooftops, archways, and entire boulevards half shrouded in somewhere far below the heart of ancient island. As you're all kind of, the boat somewhat slows as kind of the stillness around this area, the natural stillness. You see, actually, well, who else is out looking around? I assume Yama's navigating. Pauly's been.
Yes, he's.
What's Karu?
Pauly's trying to cut some of the ropes that are very important.
No, I'm probably on babysitting duty if the other two are on lookout, so I'm wrangling Pauly.
Cillian, you spot before anyone else then that there are sort of small, what seem to be like small islands, kind of like dotting this area, and You also notice like small figures, what appeared to be figures on rafts, or like like it's quite a ways away, but like little figures around or on these islands. It's probably too far away to really like make out any discernible features at this point. You'd have to certainly go closer, but your ship is obviously big, so they will see what you are before they really see what they are.
Could I yell down to Yama? Be like, hey Yama, like if can we slow the ship down? I'll be back. And Cillian's gonna like bamf into a giant eagle. And he's gonna fly pretty high, but he's gonna like use his eagle sight as well to try and gather a bit of information about are these hobgoblins, are these fish cultists, are these sea elves, or are they something? Are they a secret fourth thing that we have to deal with now?
Love that. Can you give me a perception check with it?
Okie dokie. Perception. No, that's a 9. So that's cool. Could I argue my passive perception as I fly over them?
What is your passive perception?
16.
Okay. So I won't give you like specific details, I guess, of like I think maybe you don't really spot specifics, but you do notice, I think, with your passive perception that they're definitely not sea elves. These seem to be kind of lizard folk. At least on the outer raft, and what seem to be these kind of like weird outer islands that are kind of dotting the area. As you soar around Bell Tower itself, you can see a number of hobgoblins up in this, what was once a bell tower up in the sky, but is obviously like just above the water's, or a bit above the water's surface. There's like stairs that go up around the outside, and as you fly past, it appears to be there seems to be some kind of stairs on the inside of the bell tower as well that perhaps go down.
Do I see if in the interior of this bell tower, do I see if like the interior is full of water, or if like maybe it is magically sealed so the water's not going in, so it's dry in there, or?
It appears dry. Like you see like a figure like maybe up on the up where the bell is, like on a platform, and then they head down, and from your angle you can see that they seem to head down a fair way. Before you lose sight of them based on the angle. Right?
I'll zip back over to the ship and like swoop back in and be like,
before you get back, you hear the beating of wings, leathery wings, and
oh god,
roar of a dragon.
Do I see the dragon?
Yeah, I think with your passive perception, it is coming not right at you, but sort of coming towards you from further away from the north. And seemingly it's on a course directly with you, and then it plucks its wings and dives under the water.
Did I catch a color or?
Oh yeah, black.
Oh god. Okay. Now I'm gonna zip back over to the ship and I'm gonna like swoop down. I'll do the same thing because I saw it do it and that was kind of cool. I'll like tuck my wings and come in towards the deck really quickly, like coming in real hot, aiming for just in front of Pauly, and I'll stop. And then in my bird talk, I'll be like, well, I say, I saw, and then like I'll shake my head quickly, turn back into Cillian, and be like, this will be easier. There's lizard folk, so the secret fourth thing, the tower, that big ass thing over there, like it looks like a tower from here. I'm guessing you guys can see that. Are your eyes that good? I don't know. Anyway, they're filled with hobgoblins, so that's also fantastic. And did you see something like a flash, like a blur, just like dip into the water with a little splash all the way over there? It was a black dragon.
You. What?
Yeah,
Oh.
it was he.
Oh,
Yeah, he was not. He didn't look friendly. So he's there too. So he looked pretty big. So yeah.
Wow, this seems bad.
Yeah, it's not good. Cillian's gonna like quickly dip, like quickly climb back up, and I want to try and could I use where to go? Thought I had it. Divination, but in the way that I've been like flavoring my spells into dragons, could I use divination to speak to a dragon spirit that I can summon? Because I want to speak to my black dragon friend.
Also like your
To have like a
dragon
basic
spirit
conversation with him. Yeah.
that
One of the
you can-
one of the dragon spirits that I can call upon when I need them. I just want to have like a little conversation with him to be like, saw a black like a big black dragon. How bad is this on a scale of like 1 to 10?
Yeah, I think because it's chronic information. Well, I guess like the dragon spirit, you get it's not infallible. I think it's right. I think it gives you that like, oh, black dragons, yeah, bad news bears in terms of real assholes, super territorial, amphibious. They spit acid. And immune to acid, which could be a problem. They have some innate spellcasting, usually acid-based.
Sounds like a lot of acid.
A lot of acidy kind of stuff. You ask, how bad is this? Like, I don't think the draconic spirit can make a judgment call on can you take it or
Yeah. No, I mean,
just-
like, how bad news is this? Is an adult black dragon? Like, is this a bad idea? Not in like, can we take it? Like,
Sure.
basically, the information that you've given me answers it's bad news.
DM,
Yeah,
in
they're-
terms of CR rating, what are we looking at?
They're tough and strong. Not necessarily the most intelligent or wise of the dragon kind.
Yeah, it's my understanding, and I'd imagine it'd probably be Cillian's understanding with how he is with dragons. That he would know that they're like not the smartest, but they are cunning.
Yep.
Sort of thing. He's like, be smart around them, because they'll get you from behind. Like, they'll fuck you up.
Yeah.
And the funniest part is I've asked the black dragon spirit, so essentially a dead black dragon, and he's like, yeah, they're assholes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because I mean, even dragons can hate other
Yeah.
dragons, right? He's like, oh yeah, we're the biggest. But also, I think it's embellishing like how badass black dragons are. So if you're like, oh, is this bad news? He's like, oh yeah, you're fucked, mate. Like you're just gonna get acided right up. Like if it was me, if you're coming up against me in my neighborhood near my horde, potions of resistance ain't even gonna fucking help you, son.
Killing a bit. Okay.
Hope you
Anyway.
bought some though, because you're gonna get sizzled.
That's fine. I don't need it. They might down there though, and he's like, "Who? Why am I pointing? You can't see. Like, you're in my head." But like the others, yeah, they're like the other guys. You know, you met them one time. I'll let you come out and eat some farmers. While they were asleep. But you saw those guys. Like they're gonna be fucked. We'll be fine. Me and you, we're homies. Like, I'll just bring you out, and then the acid won't do shit to me either, because that's how that works.
I like to
Acid
think
and
that we're
poison,
sort
I
of
would
seeing
definitely
this.
Worry about those. Sorry.
I like to think that we're sort of seeing this. Like Karu comes up to where Yama's standing, and he's got Pauly by like upside down by the feet. Like that's how he's wrangled Pauly. So like he's like got him in a tentacle, and he's just like
Like a Peking duck.
and Pauly's just like
Pauly has a swing, yeah. He can like try like
Screeching.
like you know like just like yeah. What's it called? The gymnastics of the pole. I'm just trying to use that as like a flipping.
yeah, but,
I
yeah,
love
but
that.
there's a tentacle that has like secured your feet, like you are like I'm gonna pluck you kind of thing. And Kara's like just comes up to like Yama and I think looks up at like Cillian, who's animatedly talking to nothing, and he's just like,
Yeah, talking to himself. Yeah.
I'm worried. That's worrying.
Cillian will like.
I think that's safe, a safe reaction and very normal. And maybe we just need to sit him down and talk to him.
At this point, Cillian will just like step off the top of the crow's nest, like not grab onto anything, just step and just falls like pin drop down. And they're just like, I'd imagine everyone's like, what the fuck is he doing? And then his wings just open at the last second. He's just like, so really bad. I spoke to my dragon
You've
friend.
lost it.
Yeah, no, is that what you were doing?
Oh.
I mean, I can bring him out if you want.
No, we're good. We believe you.
I'll unleash the
Yeah,
dragon.
we totally believe you.
We believe you. What did you learn? What did he tell you?
Yeah, well, it's a black dragon. They spit acid. How you guys go with acid?
Not good. How does acid go underwater, though? Didn't it just go
He's
underwater?
a dragon.
Hmm.
He's also gone down to near the bell tower, so I'd imagine he's going into the bell tower, but like bottom up or middle out. I don't fucking know where he's gonna. I didn't see under the water. I saw above the water, but he's gonna be around the bell tower. So I'd imagine it looked really dry inside the bell tower. So I'd imagine he's gonna get in there somehow, and then we're gonna have to deal with him in a damp, musty space that's not really wet. It's just kind of damp.
Where did you see the hobgoblins?
In the top of the bell tower. But you know how the goblins are like trying to befriend dragons and shit? Like that that dickhead that Yama knows has that red dragon that I tried to like bring to our side and they told me to get fucked.
His brother. Yeah.
Yeah, that dickhead. He is a dickhead, isn't he, Yama? Tell me I'm wrong.
You're not wrong.
That's what I thought. Anyway, yeah, they're trying to get dragons and shit. So, like, I feel like this dragon's probably helping them. Although black dragons, they're kind of like cunning and like kind of dicks. So, like, we may be able to like manipulate the dragon, come to our side, and then just like we'll promise it some treasure or something. Dragons love treasure.
I think maybe there is some merit to that idea of like rather than just trying to fight it, of which we will be absolutely ruined.
That's fine. Don't worry. I can become immune to acid. It's okay.
You can.
You can.
Let me go up to it. I'll go up to it. I'll have a chat with him. I'll offer him some treasure. It may be your treasure, but like I'll offer him the treasure.
I think you've got to know what he's been offered here to be able to see if we can even match it. We don't know.
I'd imagine so. He's a dragon. That's what
you don't know that. You don't know.
Like, I can turn into partly a dragon. You've seen this.
Yeah, but you're still you.
Yeah, but I'm dragon meat.
Dragon you still just wants to steal things. Come on.
Exactly, like dragons.
Look, like you.
Cillian's just like not budging on this. He's like, it's the dragon in me.
You can't blame everything on the dragon.
Yes, I can.
Just like this little inner voice person that you're talking to all the time.
So
I like to think that Cillian starts to like shift into like his draconic form while he's like arguing about this. Yeah. But he's like, he gets like black scales and then coughs up a little bit of acid and he's like, ah! Oh. And I'm actually gonna take, I'll mark off 4 points of damage because I've hurt myself with my own acid.
You've got yourself up into a bit of a frenzy. Well, it's getting to 8:56, I know, or 8:57. Jimmy's got to jump off at 9. Hard finish. So I think this is a great place to stop as you guys sort of survey and plot and plan, which I know you're excellent at doing between sessions. I will lay out 2 options in front of you, but I am open to options. Obviously, if you have other ways forward. Bring the ship in close or come across on the surface somehow. If you come on your ship, potentially very obvious, spotted, or the ship will be spotted. Head on the surface without your ship, swimming, getting some of these rafts from these lizard folk. Try to be surreptitious. That is one option. Or head down to the seafloor now and make your way through the city, the base of that bell tower on the seafloor.
I like that one.
Perhaps more stealthy, but also perhaps more dangerous. Underwater, and not everyone's fighting.
I can just turn into a whale and swim us there.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm not taking into account any of your abilities. I'm just saying, like, here are some options. Bear in mind as well that between now and next week, I'll be looking up the fighting underwater rules because certain weapons always have disadvantage underwater. And those of you without swim speeds obviously move at half speed.
Also, if you just don't have a swim speed, you immediately get disadvantage on attacks.
There you go. Even better.
Brutal.
So I think mostly piercing weapons are usually okay to a certain extent, like spears and tridents and so on. But most like bows, obviously terrible. Swords, not great. Cutlasses, scimitars, all those things that Karu
Katanas,
has.
yes.
Shrimpy the pistol shrimp, obviously very good though.
Great weapon. Possibly the best.
I think that's where we'll leave it out, unless you had any final quick questions before.
Nope.
Nope.
Good.
Love it. All right, back in the swing of it. We'll be back next week.
Bye.